I'm Jean Schumacher, founder of the Plant-Based Academy, where I provide help, support, guidance, and resources to help you switch to a plant-based lifestyle and get your health back. Today I have the privilege of connecting with Steve Mittleman, the author of the book, There Is No Wagon. And Steve has been on over hundreds of TV shows, feature films, comedies, commercials. He's been everywhere. But his passion is healthy people on a healthy planet, and you can find him on Facebook and Instagram. Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here today.
We talked about this, I don't know if you remember, but I said, I have a book. This is like 20 years in the making. This thing is 20 years in the making. I could not, justify like, hey, I'm a comedian, I'm an actor, I'm an auctioneer. What am I doing talking about this in this world? I've been in the throes of food addiction, eating disorder for most of my life. And I'm giving you the backstory before the book. Now, because of that addiction, I'll just tell you where it started. And that is when I was in college, for like 5 years, I had prostatitis, which is inflammation of the prostate. It's very painful. It was for me. But, for men, it usually happens in your 50s, 60s, and beyond. And for me, I was one of the lucky ones that had happened when I was maybe 19. But so after 5 years, 6 years of going to doctors, a lot of pain, a lot of being up in the middle of the night, a lot of pacing, a lot of zits baths. Finally, I went to a high-end Fifth Avenue doctor one day, and he goes, what helped one of my patients is he quit caffeine. Pain and motivation, they're a great combo, pain and motivation. And I stopped on a dime. It stopped on a dime. I didn't even have the headaches but I used to have, coffee. As soon as I left home, I went away to school. After school, I went right into comedy. I would have coffee, first thing in the morning, which was, I would sleep till about 3 p.m. I stopped the caffeine part and the thing stopped. And it was the first time in my life I could see there was a cause and effect. I never had to think about it before. When you're in your teens and early 20s, you're not thinking much about it. Though my dad, when I was about 20, my dad had a really bad stroke. And that makes you wonder, is it just genetics? Although everybody thought, hey, it's just, the connection. People think, it's just genetics. What's the lifestyle have to do with it? Not back then, not in 1974.
No.
Nobody's thinking about that.
I love your title, There Is No Wagon. I love this. What do you mean by that?
Well, it segues beautifully from what I was about to say, is there is no wagon. Being on caffeine, right? I was on a wagon. I was on caffeine, and I was on a lot of caffeine. And I was one of those people that was susceptible to the effects of caffeine on my prostate. I gained like 50 pounds in college, and I ate the worst crap. I would eat with my family, and then I'd go out and eat a second dinner with my friends. When I hit like 18, 19, I grew sideways, Listen, I was a compulsive overeater probably from the age of 4, I think. So my whole family, everybody's got weight issues, for sure.
Well, was there a specific turning point in your life that led you to adopt the ideas you write about in the book?
It took me 45 years, let's say, till I said to myself, and I'm about 70, I'm not going to fall off anything. I'm not going to start over, because I was a serial starter over. I said, this is not working. First of all, you have the weight to lose and then the weight between your ears. These two, call your brain. I went to True North and I fasted for 2 weeks. And I remember Dr. Doug Lyles, there's like 64 different eating disorders out there. I think I'm like in the garden variety category that a lot of people have in the world is you want to be better, you want to feel better, you want to look better, and you have the greatest intentions in the world, and the world is filled with crap and enticing and seductive. It's the pleasure trap. We weren't meant to deal with this. We're made for, simple stuff. When I hear doctors, brilliant people I respect, people I love, that say, oh, well, if you fall off, it's not so simple because, first of all, you're developing a disorder. And when you think you fell off something, which is only in your head, the concept is only in your head. I fell prey to it. I'm telling you, right in the last 15 minutes, I fell prey to it. It's an awful thing. Like I said before, I'd rather build on a remarkably ugly success. If I screw up, it's not like a house of cards falling down. I think there's two things working together. One, there's the disease and the addiction or attachment to a variety of foods that are bad for us or ingredients that are bad for us, sugar, oil, salt.
How does your personal experience shape the lessons shared in the book when it comes to overcoming these challenges and making sustainable changes?
When you are addicted to foods, which I think most of us are to some degree, there's a wide spectrum of the level of addiction, right? Given the opportunity to be addicted, industry has figured out, oh, we're going to get everybody addicted or almost everybody addicted. We're on that track record or that trend. So given the concept of there is no wagon, but there is a lot of crap out there to eat, the crap that you love, that people love, is saying to yourself, well, you fell off this thing. Come join us back here eating more of me. And how did I hit that level? I think it was, and I'm not perfect, by the way. I'm not perfect at all. But how I got to the point of there is no wagon and telling myself that is hitting depths of incomprehensible demoralization when I can't give myself to a concept anymore that's screwing me up. The food is another issue, but I can't give myself. I'd rather shoot for 110% and shoot for perfection than I'm not going to achieve and land at 90% or 98%. And I'd rather have a glorious imperfection than think I have to be black and white and perfect. I think a lot of people, they haven't been able to do it. I'm mirroring what I see in a lot of other people also. It's not just me.
Well, you mentioned idea of small steps in the book. How do
Yeah.
you recommend people set realistic, manageable goals for themselves without getting discouraged by the bigger picture?
Yeah, I do talk about it in the book, small steps. I think you do what you can do, but you can't kid yourself. Does moderation work? I don't think it works. When people say I have cheat days or a cheat on the weekends, I never related to that. I mean, I probably tried it in my life. I think you're going in two directions in life. You can take small steps and be healthier, or take small steps in the other direction. You have to continually educate yourself. Even on the title of the book, a big serving of encouragement. That's really what I hope people go, hey, he's the regular guy. He's the regular Joe. You and I know, like the flow of this conversation, you and I know that if we're all in and go all in and default is go all in, you're going to get all in great results. We know that. But to answer your question, as somebody that might not know that, they're going to want to love you want to love yourself through the journey. Love yourself through the journey. You got to love yourself incrementally. You got to love yourself whether you jump all in. You got to that's a through line here. Whole foods are a through line in the book, although in future books I get into whole foods a lot more than this. This is really about mindset. There's a lot of humor in here, but the mindset throughout this book is love yourself through the journey, and the journey is your whole life. You're not, once you're born, you're on your life. And once you die, you're off your life, like dust to dust. If you think you fell off something, it's exactly what the diet industry wants, is they want you to go binge on processed crap that's out there in the world, and then be demoralized enough where you get on another diet, whether it's theirs again or somebody else's. And that's a cycle, and that's a through line of the book. Love yourself through the journey. 3 global beliefs in my life. There is no wagon. Whole foods are better. We should all be healthy.
What are some of the most effective tools or practices that you've personally used to stay grounded and motivated over time?
Well, meditation. I exercise pretty much every day. And I bowl. I bowled last night. I'm on a bowling team. And that's fun because it's a community. I'm friends with everybody on the team. And I believe in exercise. I believe you got to move your body. I believe it's like a gift. Just like nature is a gift, whole foods are a gift. Our body is a gift. Listen, we should all be healthy. We're sold out. There's a lot of people or companies with financial interests. I guess you could say I'm a humanist. So what do I do on a daily basis? I have my green smoothies. Linda is an amazing cook. She uses a lot of AJ's recipes, and I think she's great at it. We don't use in the house sugar, oil, salt. When we go out, we ask for no sugar, oil, salt. Last night, we got these spring rolls, fresh tofu, and it comes with the peanut sauce. And we slightly dip it into the peanut sauce. Linda just experimented with making her own peanut sauce, which is great. We keep things very simple. We have a salad numerous nights a week. So we're very basic. She'll make baked potatoes, baked beans.
Oh, I've got a killer recipe for baked beans. I nailed it. Ooh,
Good.
ooh, yep.
Good.
Make it in the Instant Pot. It's great.
She does a lot of cooking. So on the food side, we have a giant thing of oranges. I buy bananas all the time. If they go a little south, I'll freeze them. I try and keep it very simple. I love community. I love the sense of community. I love the whole food plant-based community. We were saying, the people that I, know and stay in touch with and hang out with, AJ, Chef AJ, and Brian Wendell and his wife Darshna. It's unbelievable, great feeling of support.
When you have that, it's amazing because you don't have to spend, like, I do a lot of game nights at my house and gatherings and whatnot. And the people that I'm inviting over are plant-based. We don't have to have the conversation. Oh my God, where are you going to get your protein from? We just have fun being with each other and enjoying each other's company. And that's the best. Well, what do you wish you had known earlier in your journey, towards personal growth, and how can readers apply that wisdom to their own lives?
I will tell you a nice story. I have it in the book. My dad used to have 3 or 4 angina attacks a day, and he would have to take nitroglycerin tablets. And even though I knew nothing really, I knew 1% of what I know now, about eating and effect on the body. I said, Dad, cut this out and this out and this out. And he went from like 3 a day to 0 a day. Imagine being freed up. I told you what a bad relationship I had with my dad. But a week after doing that, and I wasn't nice about it, I said, Mom, do not make this crap and keep this crap in the house and make this fried stuff. And, I was visiting them in Florida. I went with my dad to his cardiologist. And I was working in Chicago. I'm on the phone with him, and he's bawling. He's bawling. Nobody ever took care of me like this in my life. In my life, he was a child of the Depression, lived through the whole, World War II and everything around that. And I don't, and without therapy or 12 steps or any other kind of support group, um, I don't think he had the sense of community. And then everybody's hung out to dry. Everybody's like, you have a whole generation or more generations of people that are eating the worst crap in the world. So what I didn't know, to answer your question, is that you don't know till you know. You know, I mean, there were people like you were saying, the historians that knew this 100 years ago, but you don't know till you know, and the light bulb hopefully goes on and hopefully gets brighter.
Well, if there's one key takeaway you hope your readers gain from There Is No Wagon, what would it be?
If you tell yourself I fell off a wagon, then you're coloring your future. You go, I fell off the wagon. Oh, now I can party. But to think you want to party is the addiction that's sitting inside of you. Just take care of now. Because you tell yourself you're on a wagon, then you're, again, coloring your future.
Yeah.
And I don't think people speak, by the way, or people think when they're even a little addicted. It's the addiction speaking through you. What the wagon mentality is it threads into the addiction. I have an excuse, now I can party. I fell off something, now I can go crazy. And your body pays the price. You want to navigate the crap, the world of crap. What I'm doing is coming up with an easier way to navigate, whether you're on a wagon or a plane or rough seas or calm seas. I've done 50 cruises. I've been on hundreds of flights. Every one of them, you have to go from A to B. Make it the easiest route to get there. You got to navigate in this crazy world. If I had one thing to say, is just take care of right now, love yourself through the journey.
Well, if someone were to begin their journey today towards change, what would be the first step you'd recommend they take after reading your book?
Crowd out the crap. They don't use that term, but whole foods in whatever form are advantageous. You could say ADD, add into your body, advantageous. I know that's cute or corny. Advantageous. You want to crowd out disadvantageous, but focus on adding whole foods that are advantageous. The more you eat naturally designed for your body foods, the more your body says, oh, I don't have to spend all this energy dealing with all this stuff that is disadvantageous for my body. And that frees up my body, my immune system, to repair my cells and give me more happiness and take some of the rust off and maybe clear out a disease. I'm not a doctor, but I will say it may help your blood and your lipids, etc. The simpler we eat, and I think based in whole foods, I wish I'd known that growing up. I wish we were one of these oddball families that were into this. There was a friend of mine, his dad was in the hospital. They were all obese, all four of them. He and his sister and his parents, remarkably obese. And his dad had a heart problem or heart attack. And I remember going to his house and I was knocked on the door to, and they were celebrating because the dad was home. And I'd never seen more open Chinese boxes in my life. Back then, and maybe even today, I'm sure today, people are not linking together. You are what you eat and you are what you don't eat. Crowd out the crap with whole foods. You can't escape it. If you look at almost everybody that's been on any diet on the planet, people only think they fell off a wagon. They didn't fall off anything. They might have made a disadvantageous choice and forgot the tools that work for them within the body of that diet, right? The problem is we're in a world where people are celebrating the worst stuff. There's so much celebration, and I talk about it in the book. Your life is the celebration. By a miracle, the sperm hit the egg and you came around. And from the day you were born till now, however you got here, your life is the celebration. I mean, I have to do it incrementally. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I have to take care of now. I screw up sometimes. We're groomed with commercial and messages and lobbyists, and we're groomed to go against our better nature, which is to love one another, be in community, eat whole foods. These are just tools. Don't get out of the diet. Oh, I'm going on a whole food, this or whatever. It is a lifestyle. I mean, I love the word lifestyle because it's not diet. I look at all those old black and white pictures of family. Almost everybody's thin. You know, if you see it even on a computer somewhere or somebody else's pictures, almost everybody's fit and thin.
Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today, and congratulations on your book. Well done to you.
Thank you for having me. We should all be healthy.
Right.
It sounds very Jewish. We should all live and be well. Live and be well. The be well is at our fingertips and fits in our hand.
At the end of our fork.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
All right.